Today I am checking out this new low-cost hot tent that I found on Amazon for, get this, $31.99 Canadian. So the company is called Gonex. This actually has a spot for a stove jack, and comes with an inside screen area as well, which I actually removed for this because basically it's January here in Ontario. It's unseasonably warm, although it's supposed to go down to about minus 13 Celsius tonight. But we have no snow, which is really disappointing. But nonetheless, we want to get this out. We've got a new stove that we purchased just around Christmas time. We did a first burn in that. You can check it out on the video. I'll link it at the end of this. So we're going to get these two set up and sleep in it for the first time tonight and see how it goes. We're looking to get something a little bit more portable. We have a big canvas tent that we have back here on our property, and we're looking to have something that we can basically put in the toboggan and head into the woods on Crown land or further into our property, less accessible places anyways. So let's get this out and see how it looks. Okay, well, tent's super easy to get set up anyways. Just basically put the pegs in and then your put the center post up. Not a bad size. Not I think it said it was 5 feet tall in the center. So, you know, you're not standing up in this thing, but it should be adequate room for 2 people to sleep with the stove in here. It does have some little toggles here to hold the door open, and there is a secondary zipper on this side as well. So let's get the stove in here and see how that all lines up. So our FL Tom Amazon stove that we picked up, did a review on this with a first burn. I'll put a link to it on the end of the video so you can check it out. I was pretty impressed by the way it burnt the first time around, so this will be the first time actually trying it overnight. You want to always make sure you do a first burn outside of the tent, even if your stove is stainless. They say a lot of times with paint and stuff it'll burn off, but there's also a lot of oils and stuff that need to be burned off as well. So always do a first burn outside in the open air before you're putting it inside your tent. Very important. Did have a lot of problems with these pipes sticking together the last time I did the first burn, and I ran a Dremel tool on the inside, hoping that it will help alleviate that problem. So we'll see. The one thing that's kind of neat about this stove too is the fact that a lot of people I've read about issues with creosote coming down and leaking out onto their stove and leaking out the pipes. These pipes are designed so the narrow part goes into the stove, so any creosote gets contained inside the pipes at all times and goes down into the stove, so never is going to come out on the outside and burn, which is really nice. This is the way it should be designed. Okay, so I got the stove jack on. The tent doesn't actually have a Velcro flap at the top, so I mean in the winter time you're going to get a bit of leakage down here. We also have to put these guy lines on to tighten this up, but overall I would say that stove jack is going to work okay. But yeah, if you were in heavy rain or something, you're definitely going to get some leakage down onto your stove. So we'll get these guy lines tied on. There's basically loops all the way around the tent. So we'll get those on here, and then it'll really tighten it up and actually even open up the inside of the tent a little bit more. So one thing you can do with any of the guy lines, especially on freestanding tents, is to add a piece of stick under here to help pull this up higher. You can see the difference just by doing that. It's just adds a more of a straight out line to the guy line. And just guy it out like that. You can see I've done that here as well. All right, tent all set up. Looks really good actually. I'm quite impressed. We'll see how it goes with the stove in there and everything. Make sure everything's going to be safe. So I got some Tyvek I like putting down. Actually, use it as a tent ground sheet. So I figured it was perfect underneath here. A couple of closed cell foam mats put down first, and then our air mattresses over top, Thermarest with the R value of probably at least 4 here in Ontario. Like I said, it's supposed to be about -13 tonight. So you want good insulation from the ground. That's where a lot of your cold seeps in from underneath. Basically, when you're in your sleeping bag, you're compressing your insulation underneath you. So it's very important to have a good R value pad below you to protect you from the cold coming up from the ground. All right, first burn in the tent. So overall thoughts on the tent. I'd say it's decent for 2 people. There's a fair amount of space in behind the stove that I guess you could probably store wood there. It's fairly spacious for a small portable tent. The stove jack that I picked up on Amazon was 9.5 inches by 9.5 inches. It is a little bit small, but it did do the job. I think if you were in like rainy conditions or really wet snow, you're definitely going to be getting some leakage. And also, of course, we'd be getting some leakage through all our newfound holes in the tent. But we didn't use the inner mesh part, so it actually, in bug season, you could have one side that's all mesh with the floor and everything in it. We've got just open bottom, and it went up quite easy. Overall, pretty impressed for the money for sure. Just have to work out our spark arrestor issue on the stove, and I think we've got a decent setup. One thing that I always put underneath any little wood stoves is just a tin baking sheet, super lightweight. You can fold it up, but it not only protects any sparks that come out of the stove, gets trapped in here as opposed to landing on, especially right now without any snow, but it also really insulates and reflects any of the heat up, so it doesn't melt the snow underneath the stove. Because you get it melting under your stove, and you start getting, you know, your stove tipping and your pipe hitting the edges of the tent and stuff. So probably about $1 at the dollar store, super cheap. Definitely pick one up. All right, everything's cooled off. We'll see how these pipes come apart here. Oh, that one was easy. So this continues to be a problem, that the pipes stick together. I'm happy with their design because the creosote gets captured inside, so it's properly designed. But well, it's better than it was. I think running the Dremel tool inside has helped. I might have to do a little bit more of that. I found the last time I had to kind of just keep working them on my bench to get them apart. But anyway, so, and the stove jack looks like it did fine. You can see just a tiny bit of charring there, but nothing major. So this worked out okay. All right, spent the first night in the tent. So we picked this up over Christmas time. It was on sale for $31.99 Canadian, which was just crazy. I saw it and then I knew that definitely something I wanted to try out. Again, like I was saying, we were looking for something a little bit more portable so that we can head into the backcountry a little bit more. Our 16-foot canvas bell tent is great and comfortable and warm, but it's pretty difficult to be bringing into the backcountry. So this seemed like a really good answer. I did a first burn on the FL Tom stove that I'm using. I'll leave a link to that video at the end. I was quite impressed as far as the amount of room for 2 people. I left out the inner screen shelter and just have the just it's wide open inside. The 2 doors are really nice to be able to open up, getting through either way, especially once the stove's in there. This one door is pretty close to the stove, so having the second one was definitely nice. It's set up really easy. You're just basically putting in your pegs, pop the center pole up, and guy out your lines, and was really simple to set up, so that was really nice. And lightweight, you know, it was, I think it was about 4 pounds minus the inner screen shelter that they also provide. So 4 pounds for a lightweight winter tent is pretty awesome for sure. The only issue we really had was that our chimney let out a lot of sparks. It doesn't have a good spark arrestor on it. So we have, I counted 17 holes in the tent from one night of sleeping in it. So we definitely need to do something about that. Just all the little embers that come down out of the chimney onto the tent have melted all kinds of little holes in it. So we'll definitely have to get that figured out. The only other thing that we found was, I think it kept us a bit cool last night, was it doesn't have a snow skirt, and there's no snow right now. And we were getting a lot of air coming in from under the tent. Now I might have been able to pitch it slightly looser to bring the floors down, but ideally I think once we have some snow, just pile of snow around the outside, that's going to seal that bottom from letting all the cold air come in. I think it's totally adequate for 2 people to sleep in here. My wife and I slept in here no problem with the wood stove going all night, so that was not an issue. So yeah, I think especially for $31.99, like, that's really affordable. Great way to get started to do some hot tenting. Between that and the stove, we're in just over 200 bucks Canadian. So it's not a big investment to be able to get out in the woods. If you have this tent or stove, or have the same issues with the embers burning into the tent, I'd love to hear what you do for a solution. If it's a spark arrestor that you've purchased, or what other solutions you have. Also, what you think of the tent. Like I said, for the price, I think it's a win for sure. So leave me a comment in the bottom if you have this tent, or have suggestions on how I can fix my spark issue. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope the review was helpful for you. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more outdoor gear reviews and adventures. And you can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Stark Raving Mad Adventures. Thanks so much for your support.